All right, so this meeting is being recorded by video and audio in accordance with the state open meeting law, consistent with the governor's order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law and banning gatherings of more than 10 people. This meeting will be conducted by remote participation. Additionally, all votes taken by the committee during this and future remote meetings will be by roll call. If you are calling in on a phone, you can press *9 to request to speak. If you are watching on a computer or a device, there's a raise hand button that you can tap or press to request to speak. Please use either of these options to be recognized to speak. Tonight we have myself, Councilor O'Hara. We have the Assistant Clerk, Grace. We have Councilor LeBlanc, Councilor Gilman, Councilor McCarthy, our CAO, Nicole, our Police Chief, Ed Conley. We have Chris Saccaranza, Councilor Holgram, our City Attorney, Chip Payson, the Honorable Sophia Romeo Fakin, and Melissa Cox. And so first on the list of things, we have the Clean City Commission for Jamie Matheson. Is Jamie Matheson around?
I don't see her on an attendee. I don't see her at all. I mean, we all know Jamie. I know Jamie very well. I'm sure you guys too. So it's a reappointment. I don't have a problem bumping her up to council if it's up to you guys.
That's fine by me.
I'm fine with that as well.
Or we could bump her back to the end of the meeting, see if she jumps on, Sean. It's up to you.
Yeah, why don't we do that? Because last meeting she didn't attend either.
Okay.
So we'll move on to the end of the meeting. Thank you, Councilor Blank. The next thing in front of us tonight would be for the City Council 2021-002, Cox O'Hara amend GCO Chapter 21, Street to Sidewalks and Other Public Places, Article 5, West Gloucester Fire Range. I'm going to let Councilor Blank handle this as it was his original motion.
All right, so we do have Councilor. So Jamie, you just joined us. We're going to tidy up a couple of things first, and then we'll get right back to you, just so you know. So just be patient with us. All right. So originally, I was the maker of the original ordinance, and after communications from the public, Councilor Cox and Councilor O'Hara had brought it back to Ordinance Administration for review to see if there was going to be any tweaking or any other matters for that we can deal with the range. I know it's been a long process. We've had, I don't even know how many emails, how many communications, but where we're at with we do have litigation in our Article 97 before us with this property. So Councilor Cox and Councilor Nolan, before we proceed with any motions this evening, I'll let you guys speak after, but I just want to make a quick little statement, and then we can figure out how we want to proceed with the rest of the meeting this evening. So Councilor Nolan and Mayor Taken have worked closely with Chief Conley, myself, Councilor O'Hara, Councilor Cox, the city's DPW, our conservation agent, and our general counsel, Chip Payson, trying to figure out how we're going to solve the issue at hand. We've gotten so many letters of information. We've gotten so many concerns at the council level and through email. You know, we appreciate everybody's patience. This process, it's not just a cut and dry where we can just kind of lop it off at any given point. There's still due process that we have to go through to make sure that we do things correctly. The current locations, after finding out the Article 97 is intact, that we are going to cease all activity at that site, and we will retool the ordinance to delete it completely, and we'll have a ban of any continued use at the firing range once we have an ordinance in place, but that will take a council order. I know Jamie and Melissa do have an order on the table this evening, so Councilor, through the chair, Melissa and Jamie, if you guys want to say anything about this after finding out this information this evening, through the chair, Sean.
Absolutely. Counselor Cox.
I will delay in offering a withdrawal of the current order until I am able to speak with the city clerk, who was not in the office today, to come up with another order to dissolve the current order that we have and the best method about going about that. And then if anybody wants to sign on to that after we have the proper language set, then I would be okay with that.
Good. Yeah, I'd like to join that, Melissa, to dissolve the whole thing.
Definitely.
Okay.
But because it was co-authored with Councilor O'Hara, I'd like to hear from him as well.
You're muted, Jamie.
No, that's reasonable. I'm fine with what Councilor Cox just proposed.
Got it. And we do have our chief on this evening. Sean, do you want to have him speak?
Chief Conley, do you have any response to what you've just heard?
Sure. Thank you very much. First, thank you to all the city councilors. Your support throughout this entire process has been outstanding. It means a lot to not only me, but of course, the men and women of the Gloucester Police Department. You know, the West Gloucester Firing Range was just one of many possible solutions to a problem that we have, which is, it's not really a problem, it's a necessity that we have, which is to shoot at least 2 times a year live ammunition. And when looking at a solution to the problem, we thought that that provided a pragmatic and cost-effective way to accomplish that task. But I think after moving through this process and from the very beginning, I think all of us have been very clear that we are mindful of the calls and impact on the community. And when we weighed it all out, we came together as a team and said this wasn't the right course of action. So totally understandable.
All righty.
So, Sean, before we move on, I just want to acknowledge you and the mayor for, I mean, it was a long bout to get to where we're at today, and Chief Conley, same thing. You know, there's a lot of information through the public that was provided to us that I don't think, you know, I've lived in the city my whole life, been up the reservoir. I know, Chief, you're new to Gloucester. Sean's a Westie. He's been there his whole life. He knows, you know, some of the things that were brought from the public we didn't know about. So it was good. And like I said, it's a process where we can't just undo things that we do. We have voted on. It has to be brought back properly, voted on correctly. So after finding out all the information, this is the right thing to do, not only for the reservoir, but for the residents of West Gloucester.
And I'd like to add that the mayor's office has worked with us completely step by step. And as far as a few months ago, looking into trailers and other alternative sites and finding a way to make this palatable for everybody. So it's a decision that after a long time of looking at, the right decision, I believe, is to terminate this ordinance. I still wouldn't mind a motion to terminate that if in front of us at this time.
Yeah, I don't think we can do a motion tonight. I think we have to put an order in to make it correct.
Perfect.
But we do have, just so everybody knows, we are cease and desisting as of today. There will be no firing at the range. Correct, Chief? We've decided.
Correct. I think all of us collectively, city councilors and the mayor's office have decided, and the police department all agree that given the totality of everything that we've received and we've looked at and weighed out, that there will be no firing at the firing range. We'll
Okay.
make an alternative plan.
Thank you. I just wanted to get it on the record because I see we have a few attendees this evening. And Councilor Nolan, we do have a couple of people out there. I don't know if we want to allow people, I know it's not a public hearing, but if they want to ask a couple of questions, you know, Councilor Cox has her hand up too, so.
Let's go with Councilor Cox.
We still have a pending litigation on Article 97. When are we going to go into executive session to discuss that? Or is legal going to say anything tonight about Article 97 lawsuit?
That is a question directed at Chip.
Sorry, I'm not familiar. Which Article 97 lawsuit are you talking about? I don't think there's one that applies to the firing range.
Yeah, we're not being sued under article, we're just being
Okay,
sued
well, the
as-
lawsuit that's pending regarding the gun range that included information about Article 97.
I'm not aware of a lawsuit involving the gun range. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Counselor McCarthy.
Yeah, I know they were represented by an attorney, the people over in West Gloucester, and I know our city council has looked into the Article 97, and we really didn't get any information as to how this is covered under 97. And if so, what activity is allowed in that area if they're not allowed to use it as a range? And maybe this is something that's going to get, I know there's a lot of Article 97 areas around the city and in open space areas, so maybe this is something that's larger. But you know, what uses are permitted under what the general counsel has found?
Again, that would be a question for the administration and Chip Asen.
I can't speak to all the open spaces, but the deeds and the deed that the Water Commission, the authority the Water Commission had to acquire the property at Haskell's Pond, and the
No.
deed indicates that it was for water use, which I believe that they were referring to drinking water. So I don't believe that that property around Haskell's Pond can be used for anything other than drinking water purposes, unless there's been an Article 97 vote of the legislature to change the use.
Counselor Cox.
I honestly do not believe for 1 second that the public opinion here has swayed this decision. I believe it was the legal representation from the residents regarding the Article 97 and the other possible situations regarding the use of the gun range is what is shutting it down. So I would like to know who made the decision to shut it down and why. I mean, we're not getting that out of this meeting.
That would be the mayor. The mayor made this decision to shut it down.
Okay.
And then, through our general counsel, the recommendation was that under Article 97, that the gun range was not a use, a privilege to use under Article 97 at the range.
But it was only through legal representation that this epiphany came to play. It certainly wasn't based on resident outcry, because we've had that for weeks now, and actually months now. And now that there was legal representation that had to be paid for by residents in order to get this before us, because we weren't representing ourselves and protecting our own properties through Article 97, that this had to happen. I just want to make that clear. I'm done. Like, that's fine.
So I understand. And then, Sean, can I answer John's question, or kind of maybe shed some light on, I don't know what the allowable use is under Article 97, but under our ordinances, where our water supply is, there's nothing that says that public access isn't allowed. And actually says at one point, the DPW director can allow permission for you to fish there if you have permission under the DPW director. So there is nothing underneath our ordinances that states that. I mean, I know the municipality of Massachusetts has certain restrictions on reservoirs and drinking water, but Gloucester doesn't have anything in place where it says public access is denied.
All right, so I guess at this point, then we need to make a motion to continue this until we have an order in front of us.
We can just continue it.
So we would like to continue this, Grace, until the next O&A session, please. And do we have a roll call?
I don't think we have to vote. We just continue it.
No problem.
The next O&A will be May 3rd because of the holiday on the 19th.
Excellent. So this will be continued to May 3rd. Thank you, Grace. We do have Jamie on, so let's have Jamie come up before we go on to our next motion for parking. Jamie, how you doing tonight?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Not too bad. How are things looking on the committee?
Pretty much at a standstill since the pandemic, but we're all still in good spirits and looking forward to getting to meet together again soon and move forward on some cool things in the city. So
That'd be awesome. I see Seaside Sustainability is doing a boat wrap thing where you can bring your shrink wrap from your boat to the DPW to recycle
it's
that.
such a great idea because that's a huge waste and something that obviously is seen a lot in the city. So it's nice to see them doing something with that. Very innovative.
Excellent. Do we have any questions tonight from Councilor Blank?
I don't have any questions. I just have some thoughts. So Jamie, you said you guys aren't meeting. I know the restrictions from the governor have been eased quite a bit. So if you guys want to maybe meet outside where the weather's getting better,
Great.
I would suggest that you get a chair and maybe put out a memo.
Yeah.
And if you feel uncomfortable meeting outside, you can set up a Zoom meeting, however you want to start up the committee again. We're trying to get everybody back in motion.
Yeah.
Especially with the governor restricting some of these, the gatherings and stuff like that. So feel free, reach out to who's the chair? I'm drawing a blank right now. Is it?
It's currently Zoe Murray.
Oh, yeah. So if you
Yeah.
want to reach out to her or one of us can, or, just let them know that, you want to start things back up within reason. We don't have a problem with that.
Great. Yeah, we talk pretty regularly on unofficial terms and
Good.
I think we're all pretty anxious to get back to it. So I think with the weather getting nicer, as long as it doesn't have to be on city property or anything like that, we're pretty happy to get together on outdoor space or Zoom if better.
Okay, cool. That's all. And you guys are doing a great job, even though you're not meeting, but we always appreciate you.
Yeah, lots of ideas and I think all of our heads individually. So
Excellent. Councilor O'Hara.
No, I want to thank Jamie for her energy as all the volunteers on our boards and commissions throughout the city. Without the energy that Jamie and everyone else brings to the table, so to speak, we would have major problems. So thank you very much. And we look forward to having your group reconvene in meetings.
happy to be a part of the city and improvements at that.
Excellent. Thank you, Jamie, for all your work. I love the board in the background. It looks awesome.
Oh, thank you. I'm in my Gloucester shop. We're doing some renovations right now and it's a pretty cool piece. Thanks.
It's actually wonderful. So do we have a motion?
Yes, sir. Ordinance Administration would like to recommend that the City Council reappoint Jamie Matheson to the Clean City Commission, term to expire 2/14/24, and I so move.
Second,
And by roll call, Councilor O'Hara,
yes.
Councilor LeBlanc,
Yes, absolutely.
and Councilor Nolan, yes. Thank you, Jamie, very much for all you do.
Thank you all as well.
Thanks, Jamie.
Take care.
Councilor Nolan.
Yes,
If I'm reading my notes correctly, Jamie does need to update her conflict of interest and ethics certificate.
excellent. Jamie, did you get that?
I did not, but I can check. I've had some troubles with my email lately, so I'll definitely look for that. And if not, I'll reach out to, I assume, Grace to ask to resend it.
Excellent.
Okay,
Thank you very
perfect. I
much.
can do that. I'll do it right
Thank
away.
you.
Thank you.
Alrighty, so next on the agenda will be Special City Council 2021-003, Nolan McCarthy Gilman, amend GCO Chapter 22, Article 5, Section 22, 176A, penalties for parking violations pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 90, Section 20A and a half. Councilor Gilman, would you like to speak on this first?
Thank you, Counselor. So in looking at the home rule petition, it became obvious that there was some best practice information that we compiled that showed that we could be charging more in our current caps that we have without the home rule petition. And because the residence beach sticker zoning, the residence only sticker non-beach zone was clearly that alternative that we really needed to look at in terms of a competitive fine. We felt that we could increase the fine to $50 right now and not have to wait for the home rule petition, which I think at one point, Councilor Nolan, you said it could be 8 months or so to go through the Senate and the home rule petition in the state right now. So what we did was we amended our council order to recommend that we increase that. And then there was one other provision that we wanted to raise from $15 to $25, which was the one with the tires. I don't have my order right in front of me right now. Shame on me. But do you want me to check?
No, that's fine. You can go these synopsis and we'll move from there.
Okay. So, I just wanted to mention that, I think at this point with the type of traffic that we've had, I'm very comfortable with what we have on the table right now for council order. Some of the data that we compiled when we were doing the home rule petition best practices for oceanfront communities. Rye, New Hampshire went up to 100 last year. Newburyport doubles the illegal parking starting the summer of last year, which was from 25 to 50. Rhode Island beachfront communities, summer of 2020, again, the COVID summer, they increased their fines from 75 to 150. Dennis, Mass beachfront community, they've been $50 since 2010. Hull beachfront community COVID summer increased fines to $50. Brewster was $40 fine for illegal parking. And Wellfleet $75 fines for beach parking violations, last updated in 2014. And then Chief came up with data for all of our local areas, which included Newburyport, Georgetown, Amesbury, Andover, Ipswich, Marblehead, Linfield, Groveland, Beverly. And what we learned there that we had a beach district, but this is not what we're talking about. We're talking about residents only. So when we looked at what they were charging, we felt that the prohibited non-beach area was probably what we're looking to add under resident sticker only non-beach. And their fines right now are between 15 to 30. Ipswich has 30. So I guess looking at the beachfront communities and knowing how many people come here, I was comfortable in suggesting that 50 sounded good for this order. And we worked closely, Councilor Nolan Council McCarthy and I worked closely with Chief Conley to make sure that he was comfortable with what he felt was reasonable for our council order. So that's basically my summary. And I hope that O&A considers this. So thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Val. Councilor McCarthy, do you have anything to add to the research?
Just to add on, it's been a long time since we've gone up on these fines. Some of them are in the areas that get frequented and push our residents out. So we thought that the higher penalty would discourage that. If I'm sure you all remember, we've borrowed a lot of money to upgrade our equipment in the city. And, you know, like I say, we haven't gone up on our fines in about 20 years, I believe. We brought on a parking, we added a parking enforcement officer this year. So there's cost to all of this, and I think we're just keeping with inflation here. So I would highly recommend that we do this and the committee take this into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor McCarthy. Are there any questions from the committee?
Sean?
And do we have a motion? Oh, sorry, Jamie, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I agree with Councilor Gilman and McCarthy. And we need to figure out a way to try to improve on the quality of life that the taxpayers, citizens that live in these areas of concern. You know what, I think trying to stay a step ahead of what will happen next, how they will, because one thing we know, they will get to where they want to go. It's just a matter of what they'll implement as far as methods. I can talk, but you know, I think we just have to think outside the box and try to continue to try to curb the problems that exist in these areas of concern. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor LeBlanc.
Oh, I'm good. Thank you, Sean.
Thanks. Val, did I see your hand up?
Yeah, I just wanted to be specific because I was not being specific when I first introduced our order. So the order was to amend GCO section, chapter 22, traffic and vehicles, article 5, stopping, standing and parking, section 22-176A, penalties for parking violations, by deleting $15 fine in code 25 and adding a $25 fine for improper angle parking. That's what I meant to say before. And also the other was by adding a new code 26 and adding violation for resident only sticker non-beach zone with a $50 fine. One of the things that was important to us to keep this moving is that if we can get this to public hearing for next Tuesday, which I believe it has been advertised, there's a 31-day wait after we approve an ordinance. And our goal is to get this approved before the third week in May, so we can be ready to start enforcing this at that rate on Memorial Day weekend. And I know that Police Chief Conley, I don't know if you want to ask him to talk a little bit about this because he was involved with this. You know, we have to get new ticket orders too for the police department, which is part of this. So.
Excellent. Thank you, Councilor Gilman. Chief Conley, would you like to add to that?
Counselor, I don't really have much to add to that. It's just a matter of us changing over the ticket books, ordering them. And most of the tickets, the vast majority of tickets that we write are done with a handheld computer device. So we quickly update those fines through our third-party vendor.
Excellent. Thank you, Chief Conley. I'd like to thank Councilor Gilman and Councilor McCarthy and Councilor Conley. A lot of work went into this. It may sound tedious, but there was a lot of background, a lot of looking into things, correcting situations, that weren't correct and to make the ordinance solid and what I believe to be acceptable for the right fine for the punishment. So with that being said, do we have a motion? You're muted, Steve.
There we go. Do we want Counselor Conley to read the motion though?
Oh, did I call him Council Conley?
All right, so Ordinance and Administration would recommend that the City Council, let's see, recommend that the City Council raise parking fines pursuant to Section 20A and a half of Chapter 90 of the General Laws by amending Gloucester Code of Ordinances, Chapter 22, Traffic and Motor Vehicles, Article 5, Stopping, Standing, and Parking, Section 22-176, subsection A, penalties for parking violations by deleting $15 fine in Code 25 and adding a $25 fine for improper angle parking, and by adding a new Code 26 and adding a violation of resident-only sticker, non-beach zone with a $50 fine, and I so move.
Second,
Beautiful. So this is by roll call vote, and I'll go with Councilor LeBlanc.
Yes, thank you, Councilor Gilman, McCarthy, and Chief, and everybody who's involved in this. This is another step forward. So this is a good thing about what we do is we tweak things as we go along. So yes.
Excellent. And Councilor O'Hara
yes.
and Councilor Nolan, yes. And thank you all for being involved with this. This is a fun experience to see where things go. So next on our agenda is we're looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
And I'm going to go by roll call vote. Councilor LeBlanc,
Yes.
Councilor O'Hara,
yes.
and Councilor Nolan, yes. Thank you all and have a great night.
Thank you, Sean.
Good night.